Hey everybody, Chris here from SteelSoldiers.com. Welcome back to another episode of Steel Soldiers TV. Today we are getting the pipeline truck ready for a parade. And I know you're thinking, holy crap, did we miss a bunch of episodes where Chris replaced the cab and did all the metal work and painted and all that sort of stuff? No, you didn't. Not a whole lot has happened since we checked in with you last time. Done a few little odds and ends, but really have not made a whole lot of progress on it. We've been busy working on our house and working on this garage behind us. So we've had our hands full with other projects, but my 8th grade son is getting ready to have his 8th grade parade. In his middle school, they make a big deal out of graduating from 8th grade and going on to high school. So they have a parade every year, and the kids always get interesting cars or fun cars to ride in the parade. And so my son came to me a few weeks back and said, "Hey Dad, can we take the deuce and a half?" And I said, well, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's take the deuce and a half. Well, now here we are just about a month out from parade time, and I still haven't got anything done on the truck. I was hoping to get the cab swap done, get the bed sides and the tailgate and that sort of thing off, get the whole thing cleaned up, and at least get a coat of paint on the cab and the fenders since they are fire engine red. But none of that has happened. So let me show you what we are going to do to get ready for the parade, and then we'll actually get you guys some parade footage later on. Should be a lot of fun. So let me show you what's up. Okay, so here sits the M756A2 in all of its glory, all of its rusty, corroded, deferred maintenance glory. And if you remember, we put the 1100 R20 Goodyear radial tires on there, and man, do those really fill out the wheel wells. They ride so much smoother than the 920 NDTs that were on there. Turns easier, really made a different truck out of it. These pipeline trucks weigh in around 18,000 all kitted out, so it's nice to have the extra capacity on there. Some people ask why I didn't go with singles, and I just like the look of duals. I just think it looks beefy, especially with the way these pipeline trucks are a little bit narrower in the back, and those outboard tires stick out just a little bit. It just looks pretty strong with those big duals under there, and no issues with rubbing or anything that I've seen so far. So this looks really good with the duals. So we're gonna keep duals on there for now. But as you can see, nothing has really happened to the bed or the cab at this point. We've got our cab sitting over here that's gonna go on the truck. But as you can see, it's still fire engine red, sitting outside, being neglected. It's been out here all winter. I'm ashamed to say we didn't have time to move it inside and start working on it this winter like I'd hoped to. But I'm at least gonna get the stuff cleaned out of the cab, the leaves and junk, and move the cab inside so it'll be dry, and I can do a little bit of metal work in a couple of spots. It's got a couple little rusty bubbles popping out there. There's one up on the front cowl. I want to get those fixed, so I'll do a little metal work there, weld in some new steel, and then the rest of it just needs sanded down. I'd even thought about taking it to a local place that does sandblasting and have them just blast the whole thing, but not sure if I'm going to do that or not. I may just see how it works to sand it down with some like 40 grit on my random orbit sander, strip off the decals, and then go ahead and prime and paint everything. But it's really in pretty good shape, so I'm excited to get this thing together and get it swapped out. But for the parade, we just don't have time to do that. I thought about trying to do the swap next week, but just so much that needs to be done to get the truck ready for that, and haven't done it. So what we're doing right now is cleaning out the bed. It's full of 920 tires, which are now in the garage. You can see the flaps sitting there, and a few tubes, and then a couple stacks of 920 tires back there. I'm gonna see if somebody wants those. I didn't want to pay to scrap them at the tire place. I thought somebody could use them, so I'll probably put those up for next to nothing on Facebook Marketplace or Steel Soldiers. But as you can see, we've got about 4 years worth of leaves in the back, and everything just looks pretty nasty. My son has decided he would like to stand up in the back of the truck going through the parade and hold on to the headache rack. So what we're going to do is go ahead and pull off the headboard, the tailgate, and the 2 bed sides, and then we'll mount the gin poles, get those mounted on there, and then we'll just get the whole bed cleaned up, get everything out of here and give everything a good power washing, get the cab a good power washing, and then spend the rest of the time fixing any burned out lights. And I do need to replace the air tanks before we can take it on the road. We've got a leak in one of the tanks that's on there, so when I got my cab from Memphis Equipment, I had them send me a couple of air tanks as well, so I'm going to swap those out because I don't want any leak downs while we're out there messing with our brakes or anything else. So we're going to go ahead and get that done as well, but mostly just power wash and vacuum and get everything prepped. May try to take the seat covers off and replace them because they look really ratty. So that's what we're working on today. Right now I got the tractor fired up. We just took the gin poles out of the back. Amber's over there. Hi, Amber. She's coming down to check in on me. We got the gin poles out, and I'm going to work on getting these bed sides off next. And they've been on there for who knows how long. They do have a couple of retention bolts. So there's one here in this stake pocket, and then one over here in this stake pocket. So I need to get those off. And then we should just be able to separate the bed sides. They are loose. They do wobble around, so I don't think they're seized in the pockets, which is good. I'll probably get the tractor over here with the forks and lift them up with that, and then lay them down in the bed one at a time, and then go ahead and get the tractor over here and move the bed sides off one at a time. So let me go ahead and put the gin poles down, and we'll get the tractor in position and start taking these bed sides and tailgate off. Tailgate is off and resting nicely on the forks. If you guys have ever tried to take off a tailgate by yourself, you know why a forklift or tractor with forks is handy. I just think things are heavy. I put a tailgate on my 5-ton in Virginia by myself, and about herniated a couple of discs and ripped my arms out of socket. I just think things are heavy. So anyways, got the tailgate off, so I'm going to go sit it out of the way. And then next up, we'll go ahead and try to get these bolts broken loose on the bed sides. They've been on there for 100 years, so we're going to have to put some penetrating oil on them and then use the impact, try to break these things loose, fight the wasps that are pouring out from underneath the bed sides already. We'll break those loose next, and then we'll work on getting these sides up. So I got the tailgate dropped off on a pallet and came back over here and started working with these bed sides. And believe it or not, the bolts that secure the bed sides came right out. I was fearing the worst. Figured the bolts were going to be so seized in there I wouldn't be able to get them out or something. But actually, I hit them with some Croil and let them sit for a little bit, and then hit them with the impact, and it backed them right out. And I was surprised it actually uses a captured nut on the inside here to secure them. Can't see them, but in behind this metal piece here, there's a captured nut that holds them in place. And none of the captured nuts broke loose and fell off, so, or sat there and spun, as you know they do sometimes. So all in all, that went well, and then I just muscled the first bedside up out of the stake pockets there, and it came up just fine, shockingly. And then I pulled the stiff legs out of the back of the truck a minute ago and threw them off. And just on a whim decided to see if I could stick them into their socket, and they still fit. Actually, this thing is so rusted, I figured that there's no way that they were going to be able to fit back in there. Unfortunately, the second pipe that the stiff leg, this one inserts into, is seized in the bore, and so I'm not sure if I'm ever going to be able to get them broken loose or not. I may end up having to cut the whole thing apart and replace the inside pipe so that the whole thing works again. I don't know. I'll probably try to soak it and heat it and see if there's any way I can get this stuff to separate, but I'm afraid it might be so seized in the bore that it'll never come out. But at any rate, at least the stiff legs go back in there, and I can stow them with a pin and until I get the other one, until I get it freed up or replaced. At least it looks good. Have the stiff legs hanging on there. The rolling tailboard was actually welded to this bedside at one point. See where they put a bead on there. I'm gonna have to check and see if that, if I can just grind that off, because I gotta get this other bedside off. So that was a great idea, I guess, if you're gonna use the truck for nothing but a cargo truck. But If you ever wanted to take the bed off again, you're gonna have to get this weld bead broken. It almost looks like it's cracked there. I think it may be. So that's good news. That may just come right out of there. Yeah, it's moving actually. So that's good news. I should be able to just lift it up out of there, and then I'll just grind this off later on. The rolling tailboard is probably seized like everything else. So I'll have to get a grease fitting for this side, or maybe even take the whole, the cap off. Yeah, either side has a grease fitting. So I'll have to get some grease fittings put in there. And then I've got a tool that you can lock onto a grease fitting and drive oil back into the passageway. So hopefully I could use that to force some oil back in there, maybe get this thing freed up. I think this truck swam in the ocean more than once, given the immense amount of corrosion on everything. I'm guessing this thing went saltwater swimming. It was assigned to the Navy, and then later on it was assigned to the coastal warfare unit. So I'm guessing they played in the sand and the surf with this thing, and it just got soaked with salt water over the years, and that's what caused a lot of the damage. But I'm not giving up on it. I'm gonna take the bed apart and replace the wood, fix any of the structure that I need to, and sandblast the whole thing down and paint it up, make it look awesome again. Headboard's out.
Yay. Is that something you two can carry, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Pick it straight up. Where do we grab it? Yeah, on that top board.
There you go. Good job.
Not that heavy. I moved the last one myself. All right, now let's walk it back. Don't put it on your feet. Grab it.
Good job.
All right, honey.
You okay?
The friction cut through the rubber
Yeah.
on the glove.
Ouch.
So I burned my fingers.
All right, we got that one down. Yay.
Yeah.
Second side. Loaded. Oh my. nerf bullets.
Alright, it's time to power wash the headache rack and the bed. See if I can do this while, see if I can power wash while holding the camera with the other hand here. Taking off years of grime and grease and mold and algae, mildew, and moss. Oh man, bed was nasty. The wood's not in bad shape, thankfully. All right, I'm going to use 2 hands now and do a better job. Happiness is a clean truck. It looks 1,000 times better. Blasted off a lot of peeling paint and moss and mildew and algae and everything you could possibly imagine. Rust. But it looks so much better. This bed actually cleaned up pretty nicely. I'm gonna have to replace the boards at some point. They've definitely got some rot in them, but they're solid enough that you can get up there and walk around or not feel like you're going through it. Conspicuously, the gin pole socket in the bed is missing, but it's actually under there. If you look underneath the truck, you can see the framework for it. They just never drilled the hole in the bed. Let's see. Yeah, so it's right here in the middle. You can't see it. You have to go underneath and look at it, but it's right about there. And so when I replace the boards, replace the deck, I'll go ahead and put that back. But in the meantime, it's clean. It's gonna be parade ready. Got a few more odds and ends to do. Gotta clean the tires up with some tire black, get them looking good. And I'll get some spray paint, just some semi-gloss OD, and touch up any rusty spots. And then I gotta replace these air tanks. Got a set of tanks sitting in the garage to replace those. And then I got a few lights out. I got to take a census on how many I got out. I got a few lights out. This one just like rusted off. I got it wired on there. So have to order a few of those off my favorite online marketplace. But most of them work. I need 3 yellow or amber clearance lights for the roof up here on the top of the headache rack. I gotta straighten that piece. Looks like somebody hit a tree or something with it at one point. So I gotta straighten that, and then a little paint on that. And we got 3 amber clearance lights that mount on that. Probably won't get that done before parade, but that's okay. At some point, I'll get it done. But it looks a heck of a lot better. Smells better. And it's gonna be safe for my oldest boy to stand up there and ride through the parade. We're going at low speed, so he'll be able to just hang on up there and wave and have a good time. All right, so that wraps up this episode of Steel Soldiers TV. You guys be sure to keep tuning back in. We'll have lots of upcoming updates on this pipeline truck project. We'll do the cab swap and all that front clip, as well as repair the rust throughout the truck and the bed and everything else, and get it back to fighting shape sooner rather than later, hopefully. So keep tuning back in. We'll see you guys soon.